This is you at the U.S. Open. This is you. Good service motion. Boom! Very good. Keep that perfect service motion you have. Right there. Good. Boom! Switch to the backhand. Lean into it. Good follow through. Take the net. Nice try. Make sure you're controlling that ball on every shot. There you go, very good. Back. Put it away. Be tough, just like you want to win. Just like you at the U.S. Open. Right there. This is you. Very good, Serena Williams.
Welcome to Canned Heat, brought to you by Liger Partners. We are marketing and operations experts, bred for our skills and magic. So each week, we're going to bring you a show on marketing or operations. And today, we're going to go the marketing route because we're going to talk about branding.
Yeah, because we just rebranded.
We did.
And so one of the big questions we get when we go in with companies is, well, number one, they'll ask us if we think they need to rebrand or what their brand looks like, those types of things. And that's such a fundamental part of doing marketing. Like if you don't have the brand, you can't do everything else. And we promise you, if we come in and tell you need to do your brand, you need to do your brand.
It's not a quick,
no, not easy.
alakazam deal.
But it touches everything. So if you're going to start doing modern day marketing and build kind of a machine around it,
right?
Your brand can't look like it came from 1985.
That's true. And it needs to look like you thought about it for more than 5 seconds.
Yeah, a minute.
Yes.
Because we do hear often that the brand was created maybe by the founder. And while we understand that that's a kind of fun thing to do on a Saturday afternoon after a couple of bourbons, you should definitely bring in a designer, because you need somebody who's going to help you come up with how that brand's going to show up. It drives everything. It drives the voice, it drives the colors, it drives all those choices. And it's sort of not knowing who you are and then trying to go out and write the content, create all the assets around it. So it's not a easy thing to undertake, but it's something that if you're really thinking about doing marketing in the right way, it's worth that expense.
Yeah. It's you should bounce the ideas off others to make sure when you say the company name, others get where you're going.
Yeah.
Because there could be maybe a different connotation that comes with it, or maybe it's the same word with two different meanings, or you think you have this great idea and then you say it out loud to someone and they're like, and what does that mean?
I have no idea what that is. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and that's like one customer we worked with recently went through rebranding, and they did it for a couple reasons. One is they had two names they were using, which causes huge market confusion. So if you think it's kind of cute to do the umbrella brand and then do like the sub brands, there's so much out there that unless you have a huge marketing budget, you should really go for one brand. So that umbrella brand and then having the subs, there has to be a really good reason for it. If not, you're just spreading out your marketing dollars too thin. And that's the advice that we gave them. But we did have to look at the name, because when we were making the suggestion on how they were going to use it, by combining it, if it wasn't treated correctly from a design perspective, you could read it one way or read it another.
Right.
And so that is an important part of that. So making sure that you've got a designer and the right kind of designer. So not all designers are built the same. Some designers are really good at kind of these creative strategic pieces and coming up with a brand and really pushing the envelope and coming up with things that maybe you hadn't thought of. Some are better at kind of the day-to-day maintenance, and you don't really want to use one for the other. So you shouldn't be using an expensive person who does kind of the branding piece of it to do your everyday marketing materials, because it's just a waste. It's a waste of talent. It's a waste of money. You're not really going to get the thing you're looking for. But at the same time, you don't want to take somebody who's considered a kind of a day-to-day designer and try to move them up into
Right.
the other. I see that happen all the time.
Well, and two, those dollars are misspent if you're unable to carry it all the way.
Yeah.
So a rebrand is more than just a logo, right?
Yes.
We're talking websites, we're talking any type of print material. So like if you've got packages with your rates, email addresses, email signatures, business cards, new colors on things. If you want to get swag with t-shirts.
It's an expensive thing to do.
Yes.
It is not
really
something
is.
taken lightly. And some of the reasons that you would rebrand. So we rebranded recently Laddering Works and Briller Media into Liger Partners. We combined the entities last year, and we sort of worked as two individual entities for a period of time to keep that brand confusion out of the market. We decided what we really wanted the name to be. So there were some reasons to kind of run separately. But at the right time, which was the time that Napoleon Dynamite's movie was issued at Sundance, we thought that was the right time to announce it, since it was
January 17th,
Yes.
2004.
inspired by that.
Yes.
But thinking through when that was done, what that looked like, we wanted everyone to see us as one combined entity. There was no reason to keep both businesses kind of separate, because we've been working on projects together forever anyway, and people didn't even know, and it's sort of, we would say, oh, well, just ask them. And it was too close a relationship, so they could tell that it wasn't a typical like two company deal. In some companies I work with, it does make sense. They have different product lines. And so one product line is being sold into one set of either stores, retailers, whatever, and that needs to live underneath one brand while the other needs to live under a different brand. And you really couldn't combine them. It wouldn't make sense.
So what are some other signs? Like if they're a business,
Yeah.
how do you know it's time
Well,
to make that change?
You could make a change just to try to get better awareness. So if you are at a point of wanting to amplify your marketing and think about it, a logo change is something that's significant, and it means that there's something different. It's like getting a haircut or, starting to dress differently. Like it's your brand saying things are not the way they were. So that could be reason enough. And it's a scary thing for people who've had established brands and those types of things. But unless you're really a big, huge brand, and you see big, huge brands do this, like they'll go through and kind of change it, and they're like, oh, something's different about that. Like, what are they doing? So that's one, right? The other is that the company changed. So you merged with someone, the types of products and services you're providing are, different. It's like a way of saying that we're not the company we were before. Like we have this new set of services, these new sets of things that we do. And then the third is your brand just is not so good.
So maybe it's stuck. or
It's
you're
stuck.
Seeing some slow growth or
You
no
see-
growth.
Yeah, slow growth, but also inconsistency. So like what I see in those older brands is that you don't see consistency of the brand across the assets. So the logo has been around forever. It's gone through a couple of iterations. No one really maintained it. And yeah, it is the same company, but it's not. And like logo and branding, you should touch it, feel it, know it immediately. You should never kind of question or be like, oh, that color seems like it's a little off, right? Like all this insanity that they talk about with us marketing people around how we kind of we put these guardrails in place. It's on purpose because we've got to have, there's got to be 20 to 25 times that somebody sees the brand before they're even aware of it. So if the brand is different every time, then I've got a problem. And unless I'm a company like a Progressive Insurance or somebody who can afford to put out that many different types of brand advertising and be okay with the fact that it's all going to kind of roll up, you don't have enough dollars to really saturate the market the way you need. So you want it to kind of always be there and always be there the same way. It's like we started off Liger Partners and we have the logo. For a very long time, we will never separate those, or we will rarely do it because no one knows that that's us, right? When we're rich and famous later and everybody recognizes our Liger, then you can just start using the Liger like some other brands do. Like Apple, of course, just uses the Apple symbol.
Nike, all of those.
Yeah.
If you're ready to unleash the beast, connect with us at ligerpartners.com. Also, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and follow us on social media so you get all new episodes of Canned Heat. We'll see you next time.